Your thoughts on this? The congressmen seem to think this would be very impactful, maybe a game changer in a tied-up presidential race. What do you think?
So I've been a communications director for a member of Congress, chief of staff for another member of Congress, and the spokesperson for the Blue Dog Coalition. Very familiar with telephone town halls. It is a older technology, but it's a way of engaging folks that may be homebound, and it's a great way of controlling the narrative, because what the secret that they're not telling you about these telephone town halls is they control who gets to ask the question. You have to vet the question first, and then it gets pushed through. So these are very controlled environments. It's great for a campaign, but you're targeting people with landlines. And so when you do that, you're limiting yourself to probably older, whiter voters. And so I would question, it's a great way to engage, but I would question that it really helps them pick up any new votes. And that has been Donald Trump's Achilles heel from the beginning, is that his only pathway to winning is to denigrate his opponent and to drive up these low propensity voters across the United States. And that's a very difficult thing. And I think he's experiencing that every time he inches further to the right to try to sweep in more of these low propensity voters, he is hurting himself with high propensity voters who are more moderate, say that what I call the Chamber of Commerce Republicans, the Liz Cheneys of the world. Yeah. And so it's a game of math when you run campaigns. And I think he is doubling down on this strategy that is closing the number of opportunities he has to get to 270.
Well, let's talk about Kamala Harris's opportunities to get to 270, Brad, as we're about to hear her at 7 p.m. Eastern time speaking from the Ellipse, the site of January 6, 2021, Trump's speech before his supporters stormed the Capitol. She is going to say, according to excerpts released from the campaign, that Donald Trump is someone who is unstable, obsessed with revenge, consumed with grievance, and out for unchecked power. If this is about getting low propensity voters out, does that kind of messaging accomplish that for her?
So she's got a different situation. She's going after high propensity voters that have voted 3 or 4 times in the last 4 elections, who are moderate Republicans who are undecided in this election. There is a very small but specific audience there that she can win over. This is why you're seeing her toss out Liz Cheney. The Trump folks make fun of Liz Cheney, saying she has no following in the Republican Party, which is just blatantly false. The Mitt Romneys, the Liz Cheneys of the world are up for grabs. And in the first time in modern American history, she has a chance to grab reliable Republican voters and win them into her column. And so what we have seen from her is a very targeted persuasion campaign that is targeted at this very small set of voters. At the same time, she's got the added problem. When she took over the nomination, she had to also consolidate her base while doing that strategy. She has done the base consolidation beautifully. This is why you see her with Beyonce. It's why you see Usher at rallies. It's why you see Eminem appearing in Detroit. She's rallying together her base and motivating them. She's got a dual strategy here. She still has opportunities to increase the number of persuadable voters that can vote for her, while also increasing the number of high partisans but low propensity voters on college campuses around the country. And keep in mind, the last time college campuses voted, they weren't physically there. And so we're seeing a surge on campuses throughout Michigan, throughout Wisconsin, where young voters are excited and fired up about this election because she's been able to take her momentum out of the political lane and put it into the cultural lane. And so you're seeing pop artists and rap artists and celebrities who are helping draft this young people, a very Obama-like movement towards Kamala and making sure they vote and that they know what's at stake. And what you're going to see tonight, I think, is the merging of those two efforts. She's going to remind voters what's at stake here, your futures, your democracy, and kind of merge these arguments into one. And the slogan she is now using, which is a new way forward, is so smart because this election is not about change. I disagree with the premise that this is about change or status quo. What she's presenting is an election of choice. We can go back or we can go forward. There's an old way and a new way. The old way is Biden and Donald Trump. The new way is her. There's the backwards, which is Trump, forward, which is her. So a new way forward, I think, is a genius framing that reshifts the narrative of this race to choice.
Brad, we spoke earlier today on the early edition of Balance of Power with the head of the NAACP, Derek Johnson, who is out with new polling that throws some cold water in this idea that young men of color are flocking to Donald Trump. Here's what he told us.
This election isn't about the individual candidates. It's not even about the political parties. It's about the public policy priorities. And the more young African-American voters, particularly those who are under 50, get factual information about what's at stake, we begin to see a shift, a gradual shift towards Vice President Harris.
What they found in this case, black men under 50 years old, as Derek Johnson says, decreased their likelihood of voting for Donald Trump from 27 to 21% since a previous survey asking the very same question last month. He suggests, as some have on this program, that this is a media narrative. What do you think?
So I think what Trump is saying and what you just heard the NAACP, I think can both factually be correct. I think in the universe of likely voters, that black men are trending in her column of the black male audience that is a likely voter. What Trump is trying to do is excite the black men in this country who have never voted or voted maybe once in the last 4 years and try to get them out to vote. And so there's the black community is really in the next 10 to 30 years going to, as their parents and their grandparents' generation who face discrimination, these civil rights struggles, as the new generation takes over, the identity is less strong as a racial identity. And you start to see young black folks care more about being progressive than necessarily voting just because someone is black. And so there's the partisanship is going to change a little bit in the black community over the next 10 to 30 years.